What's good, everyone? Welcome back to the show, man. Recap with Mo, where we're getting ready to get down into another episode breakdown of BounceTv's own Johnson series, alright? But before we get into this thing, make sure to like and subscribe to this channel so you don't miss shit that's going down, alright? So the episode we're getting ready to talk about tonight is episode number 9 of season 3, titled Spaghetti Junction, alright? So the synopsis for this episode states that Greg impresses Chef Williams with his newfound passion for the culinary arts. Omar visits Naomi at her job unannounced. Keith receives an unexpected letter while Jarvis gets caught in the middle of a family confrontation. Now that we got that out of the way, let's go ahead and get into this thing. All right, y'all, so we start this episode off with Greg. He's standing outside this building with a cup of coffee. Well, actually 2 cups of coffee, right? And it just so happens he's standing outside of Chef Williams' restaurant, right? So when Chef Williams pops up, Chef Williams is like, what's good? Like, why are you outside of my business right now? Because I fired your ass a few weeks ago, right? So Greg is like, look, I'm going to go ahead and be honest with you. I need to apologize for how, I reacted and how I was treating, this whole responsibility of working at your establishment. And, it took a lot of humility for him to come out here, first and foremost, to apologize to William Williams and also to hear what Mr. Williams had to convey back to him. Pretty much like the dish room is where you get your start, you get your foundation, it keeps you organized. And Greg is like, yeah, absolutely. And I didn't hear what you were conveying to me when I was in the midst of that, because honestly, I hate washing dishes. But in all truthfulness, if you were to give me my job back, I would be the best damn dishwasher that you've ever seen. And of course, William Williams is like, okay, after me, of course. But he said, I did put out an ad. Nobody responded back to the ad. And Mr. Williams is going to give Greg, once again, another opportunity to learn culinary arts, all right? So anyhow, we head over to see Omar and Robin at her crib discussing the situation that went down at Uncle Eugene's club the other night. And, he's talking about old boy isn't going to press charges, whoop, whoop, whoop. And she was like, well, it looks like Eugene is looking out for you. And he stated that he was going to handle it. And he was like, shit, he didn't, think all of that when he when he fired my ass. But he said, I'm going to let him have his space. I'm going to allow him to do what he needs to do. And that's all Omar pretty much can do, right? So from there, we head back over to Chef Williams' spot, where we see he and Greg cleaning up the kitchen, getting everything prepped and ready to go for the restaurant to open. And, Chef Williams is like, look, Greg, I need you to get this. But before Chef Williams could get it out of his mouth, Greg is like, oh, you need this, you need this, you need this. And Chef Williams is actually, impressed by, this whole new change, this new man in Greg, this ambitious Greg that is going all out to learn his career, right? So anyhow, Chef Williams is like, well, where is all of this coming from, right? And Greg is like, man, look, I've been looking at YouTube, and he even gave Chef Williams a suggestion on putting some honey mustard with some of his ingredients, and then to give it a little pop, a little taste of spice. And he said they'll be loving it. And he tells him about YouTube. So, not all, but a lot of older people, they're not into the social media, they're not into the streaming, but that's one of the things to get your business popping today. You're going to have to do some things that you would not ordinarily do, and that's something that Greg is conveying to Chef Williams right now. Like, hey man, step outside of your comfort zone, go ahead and put some of your meals up on these social media sites, put it on YouTube, how you made it. And he said, you know what, you'll have a line around the corner. And that's very true. I think one of the restaurants that my brother talks about, who lives in Atlanta quite a bit, was the Slutty Vegan So before the slutty vegan became super, super popular, one of the things that we would always see or hear was the whole situation on social media, how it was all a rave on social media. And that's how a lot of the word spread, not just by word of mouth, but also digitally. So with them, I think this takes place in Atlanta as well. That's something that we as a culture, we as a people need to do a better job with, man. And a lot of people are doing it. Some people are just catching on to it like shit. Like myself with this whole YouTube thing. I've been watching shows forever, right? And I would always listen to content creators about different shows, and I'm like, shit, I can do the very same thing. Like, I have an opinion, I have a thought about these shows that we're watching, and oftentimes, nothing against my ladies because I love all of y'all, but sometimes it's good to hear from a man's point of view as well. You know, we're coming from different opinions, we're coming from different ideas, from different contexts. So I just thought it was, would be a great opportunity for me to do this. But anyhow, getting off of me. So we head back to Robin's crib where we see Omar sitting there stressed out. Robin is rubbing on his shoulders, giving this man a massage, and then she starts to reminisce about them back in the college days and, how he got involved with this girl named Tiffany. And he was like, oh, well, she didn't believe that we were studying at 2 o'clock in the morning. But he was like, can you blame her? And she was like, but we actually were studying. And he was like, right, true. And he was like, I never would have made it through college without you helping me sit down, establish myself, and study my material, right? So anyhow, in the midst of all of that, she says to him, or she asked him, she asked him why he never made a move on her. And I was like, oh, shit. So I've been telling y'all for a minute that Robin is feeling him. You can tell by her body language. And I know Omar has seen it as well. Like, there's no way in the world he can sit up here and say that he has not seen it. Like, you guys have been knowing each other since your collegiate days. And you sit up here talking about you never knew that she felt for you like that. I'm like... Man, whatever, Omar. You playing games right now. But anyhow, I'm going to trust you, my brother. I'm going to trust you. So anyhow, she's like, look, I've always been going in, giving you advice on your situationships, but I've never had the chance to get entangled myself with you. And I was like, oh. I said, what you going to do, Omar? And then she reaches in, comes over towards him like she's getting ready to kiss him. She got them lips ready. She got those lips ready for him. And he was like, hey. And he stops her. And I was like, oh, hell no. What you about to do, Omar? So he was like, look, I love my wife and I just can't do this. And so Robin is like, she's feeling some type of way because she was like, you mean the Naomi that's out here with another dude, the dude you just beat up at the club, dude? And you talking about she loves you and I love my wife and she don't know you better than I know you. And he was like, okay. He thought about it for a moment. Okay. So I was like, all right, Omar, what you gonna do? So I can't even get my words together. So anyhow, she goes in again. This time he gives her a little tongue. She gives him a little tongue. I was like, all right, here we go. So anyhow, going on from there, he stops her. He puts his hand on her knee or whatnot. So I was like, okay, what is he about to do? So anyhow, this man stops her and he says, look, I love my wife and I just can't do this. And I have to disagree because nobody knows me better than my wife. I was like, oh, hell no. Drop the mic. I said, is this crazy? Like, I know you want your wife back, and I've been sitting here trying to figure out what is Omar going to do because he's trying his hardest to get back with Naomi, but Naomi ain't giving this an opportunity. So now you got this, this fine chick over here who has been in your corner since day one, who's been feeling you, and I don't know if you, man, I just don't know. I hope he doesn't miss out on this opportunity. I honestly hope that he's not been a fool for Naomi, and I hope that Naomi doesn't take this man for granted, because he's obviously still in love with Naomi. And I honestly, truth be told, I still believe that Naomi is, I don't want to say in love, but I know that she loves Omar. But the way that she's doing him right now, she's out here in these streets. Like, I don't know, Omar. I'm thinking that you're making the wrong decision right now. All right, so anyhow, I get it though. Stand up for your love, man. So anyhow, going on from there, man, it just keeps getting better and better. So we see Jarvis. He's sitting outside of his brand new old man's house. I ain't gonna call him his daddy yet, all right? But his old man's house, who has found himself in a little situation in a jam, right, as he stated, from, a bet that he made at a dog track in Alabama. So anyhow, Jarvis is like, okay, what does that have to do with me, right? So why are you calling me into all of this? And he was like, look, I keep having this dream about the number 21, and I just figured if I bet on that 21 that I would actually hit, and I was going to give you some money, and I was going to give your brother some money. And Jarvis was like, hold on, wait a minute, I never asked you for anything. He was like, right, but I still was going to give you some money even though you didn't ask for it. But just shut up and listen to the story. So Jarvis is like, okay, so what do you want from me, man? Like, why are you calling me? And he was like, well, I was hoping that you would give me the $7,000. And Jarvis was like, $7,000? Like, that's how much you lost? And now you asking me to give you $7,000, and I just found out that you were my father. Like, I really didn't want our relationship to start off like this. And then this man has the audacity, his old man, his new father, his pops, whatever you want to call him, he has the audacity to sit up here and say, oh, well, it looks like I made the wrong decision. Like, you sound just like your brother. And Jarvis is like, you should definitely heed to what he's trying to tell you right now. Like, your ass needs to stop gambling. Definitely, if you don't have the means to pay your bills when you get done gambling and lose all your damn money. And this man has used all his money in his savings, y'all. So I'm like, what the hell? What has Jarvis gotten into? So the man doesn't even want to listen to him anymore. Frederick gets up out of his car, walks off, mad as hell. Jarvis is like, and you want me to call you daddy? Right. I'm right there with you, Jarvis. Hell to the no. Don't call that man Pops. Don't call him nothing, all right? Just call him what you been calling him. Matter of fact, you might need to go to your own people, man. We'll talk about that later. But anyhow, going on from there, we see Keith and his girl and it looks what it looks like his new studio. She's over there painting, putting 3 coats up on the wall. They got this white wall over there, and then you got him dancing with everything is good. The vibe is good, right? So anyhow, while they sitting there talking to each other, she's talking about how she's supporting her man and whatnot, and she was like, I'm just here to support you and all of this stuff. Like, who would you really want to take a photo shoot of and all of this stuff? He conveys to her Andre 3000, which I feel like is one of the greatest of all time, if not the greatest. All right, no arguments in between that. Anyhow, going on from there, while they're sitting there loving each other, there's a knock on the garage. So this gentleman comes in, drops off an envelope. Keith opens the envelope to see this letter that's informing him that the city of Atlanta has found out that he's operating a business without a business license. And his girl was like, look, okay, that's cool because you got a business license, right? And he was like, well, I never knew that I had to have one. And he was like, shit, I've been operating outside of my loft. Like, I would just take pictures from my loft and develop them from there. So I really didn't think about it. And truthfully, we can get into the logistics of a business. You don't technically have to, but if you're going to be doing the things that he's trying to do on the level that he's trying to do them, then it's best to get a business license and be on the up and up. Now, you can do, it on, as a hobby, you doing a little bit here and there, some people at the church or something like that just want to pay you, that's cool. But when you really want to get into working with magazines and things like that, it's best to get a business license. And that's just layman, just GP on, running a business, right? So anyhow, going on from there, he continues to read the letter, and it turns out that that's writing the letter to him to inform him that he's going against the grain is his girl's father, Alan Garrett, right? So when he gives her the papers, she was like, oh wow, like my dad, like for real? And he was like, it's obvious that your dad doesn't like me. And she was like, are you serious? Like, obviously he doesn't. And listen, you should have known some stuff was going to happen. You knew from the altercation that you guys had, and his daughter choosing you was going to have some it's going to have some backlash. So anyhow, you're going to have to deal with it, man up, stand 10 toes down and deal with it, which I believe that you will do. So anyhow, going on from there, next we see old man Freddie, right? So Jarvis's new daddy, right? So we see him outside, drunk as hell, with a gas canister, pouring it on somebody's lawn, right? So I was like, who in the hell's house is this? And then I recognized the house as Jarvis's new parents, right? Or old parents, or whatever you want to call them, his adopted or the thief, whatever. I mean, whatever, the people that took him and raised him, right? So anyhow, when Freddie gets up to the actual lawn itself, to the front of the windows, he's yelling for them to come out, and they finally come out. They're like, what in the hell are you doing outside? And he was like, look, I come to negotiate. Like, I never got an apology. And they was like, what are you talking about? Like, we've already apologized to you. And he was like, no, that wasn't no formal apology. So this man is coming over here with a canister of gasoline, threatening these people because what he needs right now is $7,000, y'all. He's trying to get the money. Since he can't get the money from Jarvis, who he knows has it, or he believes has it, he's definitely going to go to the people that he knows surely has it, and then he's going to put it over their head that you guys cannot call the police, because how do you think it's going to go down when I tell them that you stole my child so many years ago? All I'm going to get is a $200 fine for this gasoline. But what y'all going to get? And he says, I'm here to negotiate. I was like, hell no. See, that right there is a problem to me. And Jarvis, I don't know, and we'll talk about it in a different video, but I already knew dealing with this family was going to be some BS, man. And it's been BS since day one. So anyhow, going on from there, we head over to see Naomi. She's trying to close down her shop or whatnot, and Omar comes in, and first and foremost, he's telling her, hey, you need to protect yourself. Like, I've already told you to lock this door behind yourself. And she was like, okay, why are you here? And he didn't come in with no attitude or anything like that, but he pretty much tells her, hey, I need you to let me know when you're not able to come and pick up our son. Instead of having this guy Stephen coming to pick up our son, like, what does that look like? How am I supposed to feel? And Naomi is like, look, I sort of started, but I sort of stopped thinking about how you felt because of how you made me feel. Simply put, you didn't give a damn about me, so I'm definitely not going to give a damn about you and your feelings. So anyhow, he was like, look, I need you to keep this man away from my son, Caleb, because it's going to pop off again. And she was like, look, he was asking me for your address, and he was like, oh, well, you've heard about it. That whole little scuffle that went down. Well, it really wasn't a scuffle. He just got his ass whipped at the club. But anyhow, she was like, yeah, he was asking for your address. He was like, yeah, go ahead and give it to him, right? So she was like, oh, so that's just smart for you to do. And he's like, look, Naomi, all you have sometimes as a man is your respect. And that's a word right there. That's a gem that has been dropped on this show more than once. Because sometimes all you got is your word and your respect. You might not have no damn money, but you got your respect. You might not have all the the latest clothes and the nicest ride, but you got your respect. You got the streets. People know who you are. They know that you stand up for something. They know the type of that you are. You see what I'm saying? So Omar's like, look, I got my respect. So anyhow, going on from there, he pretty much tells her, look, I'm not even here for you, to try to beg you to come back, come back with me or whatnot. I love you, but I understand right now that love sometimes just isn't enough. And her whole body language changes. Like at first she was up high, and then all of a sudden her shoulders went down low. And I was like, damn, that hurt. Because what she was expecting for Omar was to continue to do what Omar has been doing. Like, babe, I'm sorry. What can we do to fix this? But right now, Omar is telling her, look, I'm not even going to beg you anymore because I see what you're doing is what you want to do. Like, I love you, but if loving you has to let you go and allow you to do what you need to do to make yourself feel better, then that's what I'm going to do. So anyhow, as he's getting ready to exit the room, she comes out and she tells him, look, I'm going to go ahead and inform you on this just in case you don't know that Stefan is a man full of pride, actually a lot of pride in her words exactly, as well as a man with a lot of means, all right? So that can be a dangerous a dangerous combination, right? So he was like, okay, since we informing one another, I need you to understand this. Keep that away from my son. And he walks out. Like, I was like, damn, all right. But he doesn't feel no type of way towards Stefan. Like, what he needs him to do is, look, stay away from my son, stay away from me. You can do whatever you need to do with my wife if that's what you're going to do. But what you're not going to do is disrespect my wife in front of me. And that's pretty much all he's saying. Anyhow, going on from there. Next, and I think the last thing we see is Jarvis showing up at his old parents' house, trying to see what the hell is going on. Like, why is Freddie outside with a gasoline can? Why in the hell is he over at his old parents' house? And then Freddie's like, look, what I need from them is, first and foremost, I need a damn check. You see that house, you see that diamond ring on Anita's hand? Like, I need something so I can pay off my debt or get my money back. You see what I'm saying? And Jarvis is like, look, I understand what's going on. I can see that you're upset, but this is not the right way to do it. And I absolutely agree with Jarvis. This is not the right way to handle this situation. Freddie, take your ass home, your drunk ass home. Focus on what you need to do. And then, damn it, Jarvis sits up here and says, look, I'm going to go ahead and give you the money. Hell to the no, I ain't giving you no money. Like, I did not make that decision. First of all, I don't even know you. Yeah, you might claim to be my daddy. Yeah, they say you my pops. But, I don't know. I just can't give you no $7,000. Like, we ain't been together that long. But anyhow, I know Jarvis is looking at it from another context. Like, he want to make sure that he can spend more valuable time with his new daddy. And I get it. But for me, hell to the no. Like, I don't know you like that, bro. Like, why you ain't ask your other son about it? You know what I'm saying? But anyhow... Anyhow, man, that's pretty much it, man. I hope that you guys enjoyed this review and recap, man, with Mo. And I will see you guys soon. Also, make sure to check out my other videos. I got a lot of stuff on the way, man. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this one. Make sure to like and subscribe to this channel so you don't miss shit and hit this going down, all right? Talk to you guys soon. Peace.